This is Pop Crush Nights. My name is Kayla Thomas, and I have Zara Larsson with me. Fresh from the VMAs last night.
That's right.
How was it?
Super fun.
You did hosting on the red carpet.
Hosting, yep, with Nessa and Terrence.
Oh my gosh.
And they're so professional. They're like,
because they've been doing it.
That's what they do.
And that was like your first time doing anything like that?
But I felt like I was in really good company. They helped me out so much. We had some great people like behind the stage and on stage. So I felt like throughout the night I was really getting into it.
Right.
And then when it was over, I was like, no.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah.
And your dress looked amazing. I saw that
Thank
Cosmo named you like one of the best dressed. You looked phenomenal.
Thank you very much.
Seriously.
Thank you.
But can I tell you how much I love you and what I love about you?
Please.
You are so outspoken.
Oh,
Reading your tweets, because I follow you on Twitter, you say whatever comes to your mind.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it offends people, you know, politics.
I feel like I've been chilling with that so
Really?
much. Like, yeah, I mean, you should have seen my Twitter like
it used to be
a few
worse?
years ago. Oh my, are you
gosh.
serious?
That's why you got to make a fake Twitter account.
I've been thinking about that so
Girl,
many
I got
times.
a fake Instagram.
You do?
Yes, girl, what?
Yeah.
Where did that confidence come from, though?
Honestly, I think from my parents, because they always encourage me to like question things, or we always have like discussions or almost debates like by the dinner table, and I think it's also part of me. Like I've always been very loud, and I've if something is wrong, or if I feel like something's wrong, I've always questioned people, or like, why is that?
Right.
But I feel like it's really from my parents.
And I think people love that about you. Yeah. And I know, well, tell me, what are some of the things that you are passionate about?
Ooh, the things I'm passionate about is definitely feminism.
Yes, I can tell that.
For sure, like female empowerment in any way, whether it is in the music industry or domestic violence or like equal pay, and like it's just such a broad topic.
Yeah. So who are some of the women that empower you?
Empowers me, I would say my mom, because she is so strong. She really, really is. She holds it down. She works so hard. She's my biggest supporter. Beyonce, because she's my biggest idol when it comes to music, and she's a proof of that if you work hard and you put in the hours and you put in the effort and time, it shows.
Yeah, absolutely.
It really, really does.
And she doesn't shy away from controversy at all. I always say I had so much respect for her Super Bowl.
Yeah.
She touched on one of the most overlooked issues, and she brought it to one of the biggest stages, and I thought that was like phenomenal of her.
Yeah, and the older she gets, the more like involved with, I would say politics she becomes, because just existing as, I mean, you must know, like as a black woman is a statement.
Exactly.
For most of the times. And she's so empowering.
She is.
And it's amazing to see that. I love to follow all these young girls on Instagram like Zendaya, Yara.
She's another one.
Yeah.
Both of them are so outspoken about their beliefs and stuff, and I love it.
I love it too.
I love it.
Yeah.
When it comes to, Beyonce, you know how she has like an alter ego. She's Sasha Fierce. Do you have an alter ego when you're on stage?
Ooh, I would just say I'm like always that alter ego, but I don't know, when you walk up on stage, it really is like
you just become a better version of yourself.
Yeah, and it's the most vulnerable place to be at, but it's also the most like secure place, because you really feel like you can be yourself, but at the same time it's like it's the extroversion of yourself.
Exactly, yeah. And watching you perform, everybody needs to watch her perform, because she's twerking, she's busting out the moves. I always think I can dance until I see somebody like you doing choreo, and I'm like, sit down, Kayla.
No.
Did you always dance growing up?
Yeah, I danced a lot. I danced so much growing up, and I thought it was like, it's such a fun way of expression, and I went to the Swedish Ballet School, the Royal Swedish Ballet School, which is very, it takes a lot of discipline, and it's very repetitive, like ballet in general, especially when you do the like basics of it. But what's funny about it is that the basics is the same whether you are 10 years old or a professional. You just kind of add on it.
Right.
So definitely it taught me discipline for sure. And then after, you know, doing a whole lot of ballet, I never wanted to be a ballerina, but I'm very happy I did it because it's such a good like pillar to
build. It teaches you balance and
and it's just like control over my body.
Fundamentals of,
and that's why I feel like I have a pretty easy time to like get down to whatever I'm doing, even though I don't really do any dance. I like any dancing. I actually thought about that last night. I was like, I should take classes. Because speaking of like the VMAs, and I saw Normani's performance, I was like,
that could be you next year.
I gotta get on it though.
You gotta get on that level, and I'm sure you
can't just
could.
like scroll on Twitter and be like, I want to be a dancer. I want to be a dancer. Like you gotta take classes.
Exactly.
You gotta like
you gotta work for it. Yeah.
So she's really inspired me, honestly.
She inspires us all.
Yeah.
But just watching you and your dancers on stage, you have so much energy. What was like that one oh shit moment on stage for you? Like
my top broke on stage.
No way.
Yeah. Also, someone threw a tomato at me once.
A tomato.
That like low key traumatized me.
I would be so upset. Were they trying to like get you off the stage?
I don't know what it was, but I was like, stop.
I'm leaving.
That'd have
been it for me.
I was so mad, but it was kind of like, you know, I was the last performer. It was in Sweden, and at that time in Sweden, it was a lot of controversy around like my outspokenness. I used to run a blog where I used to write a lot about feminism. And one of the topics that I touched on was like toxic masculinity and, you know, how it affects women and men. And it was just like it was quite intense.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why, but it was just funny because it's like, you don't need to be here. Like, if you don't like me,
why did you come?
Just go home.
Exactly.
Like, it's not like you waiting for anybody else.
Right.
And the fact that he, like, must have bought the tomatoes.
Right.
Like, brought
like,
them.
So he, like,
and he was like,
this.
yes.
Yes.
Like,
that's crazy.
It's kind of funny, but it's not, but it's, yeah.
Well, like, how do you deal with all? Because I'm sure you get it a lot because you are so outspoken on social media. How do you deal with all the haters in the comments who are constantly like, Zara Larsson, da, 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 da.
Yeah, it's hard because most of the things is just simply not true. And I would say what people usually comment on is probably my opinions. And when I look at that, I mostly think like, you're just uneducated, which is sad for you, and the goal is probably for everyone to like understand. And we were just at the UN building, and we talked to the UN women and how they like work towards equality in countries and stuff. And obviously I'm from Sweden, which is quite a progressive country, but we're not equal yet, you know what I mean? But a lot of that has to do with understanding and being educated. And when people come at me because of my opinions, I usually don't take it personal.
Right, you can't.
No, you can't. But then it's like, also I know that I try to be a good person and I try to be nice to everyone. And for people who say rude things, it's always people who never met me. You know what I mean? So it's also...
They feel so comfortable hiding behind that computer screen and saying all these things. And so I just take it with a grain of salt and just move on.
A little bit like that.
Yeah. Well, like switching gears, I know you just finished tour with Ed Sheeran.
Yeah.
I thought it was so cute how the very last show, your crew had like Ed Sheeran wigs on. It was
the
so
glasses.
cute. Yes, I thought that was so cute. But you're about to embark on the second leg of your own headlining tour. Is that correct? So, you know, being with Ed Sheeran, seeing how he works, seeing how he moves. What is like the one thing that you took from that and will apply it to your own tour? It
was just because he is so nice, genuinely like a very nice person. It really sizzles down to everyone he works with, like even down to the truck drivers, I felt like. And it just felt like everyone was a big family. And it's a huge production, obviously, because it's stadium tours. So, I mean, there's a lot of people involved, but I felt like everyone you met, you smiled at, and they were like, how's your day? How are you? How's it going? You know, everything's good. Can I help you out with something? Everyone was so helpful, and I felt like that energy really comes from the top. So I felt like it just reminded me how important it is to be having a good attitude for everyone to also have a good time. And like my band is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, so friendly and so nice, and it was just amazing to hear that whatever happens, like a lot of people came up to us and they were like, if you ever need blah blah blah, like let us know. And that's just a nice feeling, because being out on tour is really hard, but when you have a good vibe going, it just makes everything so much more fun and easier. So I'll definitely.
So I saw on your Instagram the other day that your album isn't going to come out this year as expected. You said something like you felt lost in the making of it.
Lost in the sauce.
Yeah. Can you walk us through like what you've been dealing with?
Well, it's just been kind of hard, especially since this is my sophomore album, and I feel obviously like, because I felt my first international album was so successful, as a pop artist and as like someone who wants to be mainstream, it's very hard to ignore the fact that I wanted to be successful. You know what I mean? And I just don't feel like I have all the ingredients for that. But then it's also important to remind yourself that nobody really knows what's ever gonna happen. Like, my label don't know, I don't know, but the only thing I know is that I want to do songs that no matter what happens, successful or not, I want to feel successful as a person, which means that I want to love what I do.
Exactly.
And I want to love the songs, whether I'm performing for like 5 people or 50,000, let's say that. But yeah, I just don't feel like I'm there yet. I just don't feel like it's finished, and I've just been a little lost. Like, what do I want to do? In which direction do I want to go? Like, what do I want to talk about? A lot of stuff that I wrote earlier doesn't feel relevant now, and it's just a lot of pressure, I guess. And I don't want to feel that, but it's like,
but I feel like
as a person who's human, you do.
In this industry especially, it makes you feel like you have to catch up with one another. There's so much competition, it feels like we're all competing against you, especially in the music industry, but competing with each other. So I can see how it can get, you know, just super hard and discouraging.
And then it's like, you know, do I put out 5 singles before the album, and then I take those singles because they have a lot of streams, and then I make that into an album because that will, like, what do I want to make? Do I want to make a really, really good album, or do I want to make an album that has a lot of streams? Yeah. I mean, in the dream world, I would definitely do both.
Right.
But yeah, of course, I do want a hit. I want a hit, and I just don't feel like it's there yet. And I don't want to compromise myself. I'm not like interested in the record label telling me, well, this is a hit. If I don't like it, then it's like, what's the point? And also, you know, in my experience, I have tried to compromise myself, and then it turned out to not be a hit. So that's lose-lose.
Yeah. I also saw that you said something like, I don't want my fans to forget about me. But I was like, no matter what, like, we're gonna wait. Your true fans are gonna wait, because we would rather something that's like more honest and authentic and like tells your whole story. Of
course.
So do you know yet what that story you want it to be?
No.
Nothing, not at all.
I want it to be something that I love. I want it to be my words, my thoughts. That's why I also, you know, I want to be part of every record. Yeah. And I really
do you write all of them on the album? Are you opposed to like other people writing for you?
Absolutely not at all. But I would like to be part of the record in some way or another. I just recently, I was about to say started producing, which is not true. I recently like downloaded Logic, okay?
New talent, produce it, hey.
Yeah, but I would love that. I would love that, and it's something I really, really want to do. To be like in full control, or just know like, what am I doing? And I feel like sometimes I allow myself to rely a bit too much on other people's opinions, and I know I gotta be like, stop doing that, because it's also hard when you hire people like professionals for, let's say, choreography or styling or writing songs, and you're like, well, because you are a professional at this specific thing, you probably know better than I do. And it's like, that's not true.
And I feel like that's the easiest way, like, to lose yourself.
It
And lose
really, really is.
Your core values of
Yes.
why you started this in the beginning to begin with.
I know, it's so true. And that's very easy to get lost in, that it's like, wait, hold up. Actually, nobody knows better than I do when it comes to what I do. Sometimes I don't know what I want, but I know what I don't want. And then I guess you just have to, like, scale it down to find what it is. That's why I love to play for my mom, because she's not like an executive who's like, ooh, the sound of like that synth is really hot right now, and the fourth progression in the chorus is like, repeat that. Like, she just hears it and she's like, I like this. You know, that's how it's supposed to be. That's how I feel when I listen to music.
Well, even if it comes out in 2040, we'll still be waiting and we'll be ready for it.
It's not going to come out then.
Well, last question I have for you. What song do you have out now that you're like the most proud of?
Right now?
Right now.
My baby is Never Forget You.
Okay, yeah, that was like super big.
Yeah, it was the first song that I ever wrote.
Okay.
Like in a studio with other people, not just in my room. And I was so nervous, but I remember walking away from that session, I was like, this is so good.
Yeah.
And then I was like, is it good just because I'm excited, or is it like really good? And I remember I had to fight like quite a lot for that song, because a lot of people didn't like it. And that's also a proof of like, I loved it and it's true to me. So I feel like that also translates a bit, because the songs, my most successful songs have been songs that I had to fight for and that I loved.
Yeah.
That a lot of people were opposed to, like maybe not, you know, it's not the right sound, but it was me, and I feel like people can sense that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's your album, and I hope that you continue to fight for the songs that you want on there, because your opinion's like the only one that matters. Yeah. And you should feel the most proud about those songs. Yeah. So, well, thank you for hanging out with me.
Anytime.
Thank you so much. Good luck with your journey. We'll all be waiting for the album, but I know it's gonna be great whenever it comes out. In the meantime, we'll enjoy watching you on Instagram.
Yeah.
And watching you tweet away. This is Zara Larsson on Pop Crush Nights.